Hey y'all, here's my layout with my alien abduction kit, and I want to give a sample of this away. Actually, I'm giving the whole thing away for a few days while we have an extraterrestrial day, but I want to give away a sample of it during our fun time, and often digital scrapbookers will give away samples, and in order to do that, making clusters to give away of the product is a great way to share the product. And I'm not really great at making clusters, but I do want to show you how to take the drop shadows off the outer parts of the cluster, and that's what this tutorial is about in order to save it. Now, what I mean by that is if you zoom in, you see there's a drop shadow around this gun, this ray gun that my husband insisted needed to go into the kit. And so you see the drop shadow down here at the bottom. That's inside the cluster. However, there's a drop shadow outside here, and you'll see that when I take the paper off, that I don't want to include. So how do we get that? And then we want to include this one on the inside of the gun, between the gun and the alien. And so how do we do this? How do we make it so the drop shadows are only inside and not on the outer edges? So that's what this tutorial is about. So I've actually resaved my layout as cluster working file just so I don't accidentally mess it up. And what I'm going to start doing is selecting layers that are not a part of my cluster and getting rid of them. Let's see. Okay, this is the cluster that I intended to make to give out. However, you're going to see, one of the first things that you're going to see is that this area inside the frame has some parts showing, and you want the people to be able to stick their photo right underneath it. And so I need to get rid of some of this in here. So I'm going to click on my frame. I'm going to get my magic wand tool, click right out in there, go to layer, nope, not layer, select, modify, and expand, and I'm just going to expand it about 3 pixels. That makes it go right in here just enough. Yeah, that'll work. So then I'm going to go to this matte layer, make it my active layer, the white paper, and just hit delete. And that deleted that away. And then this layer is the glitter border that I have on the paper, and I'm just going to hit delete, and that takes that right away. And then I'm going to select the ribbon layer and hit delete. Oh, am I in the wrong layer? It's not moving it to that layer. Where's my ribbon layer? Here it is. Hit delete. And now I have Control D to deselect, and I have cleaned that area out where the picture is. So now how do we get the drop shadows so they're not on the outside but they remain on the inside? For instance, here we want the drop shadow here, but we don't want it out there. So what I am going to do is to select all the layers. I'm going to hold down my Shift and my Control key and I clicked the top layer, made it active, and I'm going to click the bottom layer. Now they're all active layers, or they're all selected. And I am going to hit, I believe it's Shift Control E. No, that's not what I want to do. Control Z. Let's do that again. Select all of these layers, and now I'm going to do an Alt Control Shift. That's what I want. Alt Control Shift. Sorry, sometimes I can't remember all keyboard shortcuts. I have to play. Alt Control Shift. And you see it left all of my original layers intact, but it made a copy of all of them and merged them right here on the top. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is make another set of duplicates, but I am going to select them all, holding down my Control and my Shift key, and then I'm going to drag to the new layer icon, and it made a copy of them all. I'm going to go down here and preserve my original layers, but just make them invisible. Now on these copies, I'm going to right click and choose Clear Layer Styles, so we have no layer styles on them. And then I'm going to right click and choose Merge Layers. Now I have two files that I'm working with. I have one that is with the shadows, and I have one that is without the shadows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this one invisible. It still works even though it's invisible. And I'm going to zoom in so you guys can kind of see this area where we have drop shadows and no drop shadows. So I'm going to hold down my Control key, and I'm going to click on the thumbnail of this layer palette, and it puts marching ants all the way around my non-shadowed merged layer. Then I'm going to go to my shadowed layer and make it the active layer. I'm going to go to Select, Inverse, or you can use the keyboard shortcut Shift Control I. And now it's selected all of the area outside, and simply hit delete on my keyboard, and all those outside shadows have disappeared, just like that. So Control D to deselect, and you see now there's no drop shadow outside, but there are still the drop shadows inside, and this is the one I want to save. And so it's not too hard once you get used to it. Not too many steps. You're going to, we could even do it again. I want to do it again because I have all my layers here. Remember, I saved them. I just want to reinforce it. Oh, you know what? That's a layer I wasn't using. Okay, so I'm going to hold down my Shift and Control key. I'm going to select the bottom one, hold down my Shift and Control key, and bring it to the top. Let's get rid of these so you don't get confused, because I'm doing it a second time, just so you learn. Shift and Control keys to select them all. And then I'm going to hit Alt, Control, Shift, E, and it makes a copy of it onto a new layer with shadows. Okay, now I'm going to select them all again, drag to my new layer icon. I'm going to turn these off so I don't get confused. You could leave them on, but it's much better since we have a copy. And now I'm going to right click, Clear Layer Styles, right click, Merge Layers. And so this one is no shadows. Okay, I'm going to hold down my Control key and click on, I'm going to make that invisible just so you can see. You can see the drop shadow in there. So I'm going to hold down my Control key and click on this thumbnail to get marching ants all the way around it. I'm going to do Select, Inverse, So I'm selecting the area outside, and then I'm going to go to the one with shadows and hit the delete key, and just like that it deletes it all. Control D to deselect. So there it is, a little bit reinforced. It's not too hard once you do it several times. Then you want to crop it. There are actions out there you can get from the full version of Photoshop, but you want to crop it fairly close to the edges. It's a little harder to do in Photoshop Elements without the actions, but it's not too hard. So I've cropped it, and then I can do a file and save as a ping. So that is it, a .png, and so that is it. That's how you can get the shadows off your clusters. I hope this has helped you.